Hello, hello, hello. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone watching. Let us begin. We're going to start our hour timer. And let's proceed. Okay, so moving into the month of March. Currently it's Sunday. We do have our past 3 days lows and highs marked out for the week. Also have our weekly open marked out. And on a higher time frame, we do have our 20, 40, and 60 days highs and lows marked out. We don't have any highs within the last 60 days, but we have this 60-day low. Yeah, I mean, you can see. So something that I would be watching for, looking at a range, looking at the premium discount of the last 3 months, or IPTA, the range that the algorithm refers to. It's interesting to note that we haven't quite moved into an equilibrium of that yet. We do have this 20-day low here, this 48-day low. We have this 40-day low down here, so price could end up coming down to take that 40-day low before then coming to take the 20-day and 40-day high. But that's just something I'm looking at, is that we are in a premium of this 60-day range here. I'm keeping that as context. Anyhow, going to move back to a 4-hour. We have been taking previous day's highs and lows. Just going to move these here. So momentum has been bullish. We had this manipulation leg downwards. Actually, that's the wrong manipulation leg to take. We have this manipulation leg. So we could end up reaching higher. We did close above the 2.5 standard deviation. So could end up moving to about this range, which would put us in the area of this imbalance before we saw some signs of reversal. Yeah, so anyhow, let's continue here. Let's begin the week. Going into Sunday Asian session, I'm going to be keeping in mind the power of 3 on the weekly open here. So I'm going to be thinking of where our accumulation and manipulation is going to be happening. Are we going to be accumulating, manipulating above the weekly open or below it? We're currently moving above the weekly open going into Sunday. Going into 4 a.m. here. Excuse me, 3 a.m. Going into 5 a.m. We've had this hourly BISI be fully closed in, and as well as this 4-hour, as well as this 15-minute. So it's possible that we're going to start moving to more of an equilibrium of this range here. That's something I'm watching. Maybe we'll have a Tuesday low of the week. I don't know. Going into 8 a.m. here. Going into 9 a.m. Again, so if I have this 4 standard deviation using this manipulation leg down here, it's very possible that price can move to here, and I'm going to watch what happens. Watching reaction here. I'm going to watch what happens when price reaches here, which, looking at the premium discount of this range, this would put us in a premium of this downwards displacement leg. So I'm going to be watching here how price reacts to this price point. Going into 10 a.m., we have had market open. Boom. Okay, so we've hit this four standard deviation projection from this manipulation leg. I'm going to be watching for signs of reversal here. Going into 11. I'm watching to see if this bearish order block is respected here. Going into 12, I'm really going to be watching for signs of reversal here. Starting to see signs of that. Really interesting to see how the bodies respect this. So I'm going to put a negative 2.5 on this. I'll be watching a price moving down to potentially down here. Going into 1 p.m. Going into 1:30. Also really interesting to note that this 6 a.m. manipulation leg down lower, we're expecting a level of reversal here at the 4th standard deviation, and what do you know? That's exactly what we see. Going into 2:15. Looking at this original consolidation here, if we're going to end up coming for this. Excuse me, good lord. Going into 2:45. So this is an institutional order flow entry drill right here. So we're in the second leg of distribution. Going into 330. Very possible that we've made a low, or excuse me, a low for the session here. And going into market close. Okay, so there we go. Interesting. But I mean, look at that beautiful reaction here. I mean, casting forward, we're able to see when price will reverse. I mean, had about 30 handles worth of wiggle room, but if you sold off of this with like a stop loss of 30, 40 handles, I mean, that's a 150 handle move. So that's really interesting. Really interesting to see that. What I was watching here for the... It's possible that I could have just had a limit sell right here. You know, had a limit sell right here. That's something possible. Something I was waiting for was the second that we closed in this 15-minute SIBI. I was looking for, you know, on this candle, I was looking for a quick retrace right back up into here. And I would have sold if it came here. But we simply, you know, I mean, honestly, the second that I saw price, you know, if I take the midline of this bearish order block here, I mean, look how the body respects that 50% level. The second I saw this in tangent with that, knowing that price hit that 4 standard deviation, I could have sold that. That's very possible. But I was waiting for more confirmation. But that's really interesting to see that I knew that price would come here based off of this movement down here. So that's really neat to see that in action. Okay, we're going to mark out the day's highs and lows. Low of the day at 2 a.m. I'm telling you, it's so consistent to see our low of the day at 2 a.m. Oh, excuse me. Wait a minute. I take it back. Okay, low of the day at 6. Interesting. But that's really interesting because it's a multiple of 3. I continue to see, like, as far as I'm concerned, the only times that I see the higher the low of the day, the hour of day when the high or the low occurs is it's either 3 a.m., 6 a.m., 12 p.m. High of the day is often at 3 p.m. Like it's all multipliers of 3, which I find really interesting. But I guess here we had our high of the day at 11:15, and we saw that beautiful reversal occurring right at 12. I was anticipating that reversal as well. Okay, so we have our Monday high. Monday low. And so I'm curious about if I take a fib on this manipulation leg up higher, it has, we have this 2.5 standard deviation down here. I'm wondering if we're going to see a deeper retrace into a discount of this overall, of this bullish displacement leg. I wonder if we're going to go lower into this. I mean, it aligns perfectly with this bullish order block. We've been taking previous days' highs and lows. In terms of the weekly open, we've had this protraction higher. So I wonder if this is the manipulation. We've moved into a premium of this displacement leg. So we move from premium, then where are we going to move next to? Discount. Where is discount? of this leg. Somewhere in this range. So what I'm going to be watching here for this week is this BISC in particular. As well as this order block. I'm going to be watching these two discount PD arrays. That's what I'm going to be watching, because I would expect a movement higher at either this BISC or this 4-hour order block. This could end up being a bearish week. And we've had this movement above the weekly open. We moved into a premium. We're going to move ahead here to midnight. My expectation would be for bullish PD arrays to be violated. So things like, this order block, or excuse me, this BISC here, I'm expecting it to be closed in and to become inverse and for us to go lower. That's my expectation. Going into 1. Got our midnight price here. And would you look at that? This BISC has been closed in. Just like I was saying, we close this in. And now I would anticipate for this to act as an inverse. So I want to see price go lower and perhaps take this Monday's low. This is keeping in mind that it's quite possible that we may have had a Monday high of the week. It's very possible that this is a Monday high of the week. Let's see, we're going into 3. Honestly, I'm going to trade this. I'm going to put my stop with this Monday low. So this is a 2-hour trade. I mean, this is really low-hanging fruit. I mean, but still 50 handles. Expecting bullish PD arrays to continue to be violated and for us to move lower. I believe the weekly manipulation happened Monday as we moved into a premium. Expecting lower prices and for us to seek discount. Now this is a sell below midnight price, but I'm fully aware of that. What'd you look at that? I'm already stopped out. Okay. Alright, well, clearly our thesis was inaccurate. That much is apparent. Our thesis was inaccurate. Maybe selling below midnight price is a bad idea. We have moved into this hourly SIBI. And part of me is just thinking lower prices here. We've had this stop run. Which has us at 2.5 right here. It also puts us in this 4-hour PD array. Now that's assuming that the high of the day here is at 4. I mean, we've had a strong reaction to this bearish PD array, and we've closed in this BISI. So I mean, I'm expecting lower prices here. Honestly, I want to sell this. I want to sell this right here. So you know what? I'm going to sell this again. And maybe this is me getting married to a thesis. Okay, we'll take our take profit at this Monday low here. Should probably take partials at these swing lows. Again, we have this trend line liquidity along here. So yeah, so we're gonna go short here. Maybe this is me getting married to a bias, and maybe that's just a bad idea. But anyhow, so we've seen protraction above midnight price. I'm expecting, actually, okay, so we've just had a stop run on the 1 hour with BISI's failing, expecting lower prices, and for high of the day at 4 a.m. Okay, so part of me is anticipating this is the high of the day. We move into this this fair value gap, and then we move lower. We could also just end up moving higher. So I could be wrong on that, but that is my thought process. Going into 6 a.m. Watching how we react to midnight price. Going into 7 a.m. What's the news for the day? Fed share. Okay. Oh, so far, price, our drawn liquidity is inaccurate. And again, once I saw this stop run and move into this and this movement lower, it makes me think that we're coming for this trend line liquidity. Like we're coming for it, we're going to go lower. We could end up just stop running again and moving higher. Definitely have a bit of a consolidation going into this news here at, what is that, 10? Oh, it's 10 a.m. news. Going into 8:30. Okay, so we're seeing movement that is supporting my thesis so far. I'm going to put my stop right above here. So I just have like a 3-handle stop now. We've had this sell side taken, but I'm looking for this sell side to be taken. Going into 9:15. I mean, currently have 40 handles with very little drawdown against us. So far I'm really happy with my draw on liquidity. It would be smart for me to take a level of partials here, given that we've taken this sell side, this sell side, this sell side. So in fact what I'm going to do is I'm going to take half off here. Let's see, edit. Okay, so I'm going to close 50% out here. Put my stop at break even. So no matter what, this is a solid day for us here. We're hitting 9:30 and we're stopped out. Okay, I'm okay with that. That's 20 handles secured. So 20 handles secured. I am more than okay with that. Again, something I'm still looking at is this stop run here. I mean, I'm looking at lower prices. I'm looking at down here. Area of interest. Really going to be watching what happens with this 10 o'clock displacement. Well, would you look at that? Random, huh? I mean, look at that, dude. Boom. So that's been hit. Now here's the main question is, if we close above this, below it, which it looks like we're doing. Okay, so my next area of interest is here. Okay, so we 4 handles off of that price target. Okay, 4 handles off. But I mean, that's damn precise. That is damn precise. And you could have predicted this move at 10 a.m. using a 4 o'clock a.m. candle. We did anticipate 4 a.m. being the high of the day. Look at how those areas of interest met. I mean, that's fucking beautiful. We could see it. We could see some reversal here. Going into 10:15. Curious if this is the silver bullet. Also, I mean, okay, well, what's the news for the week? We have Fed chair Wednesday. We have that Fed chair again. Damn, so he talks twice. Oh, I see. It's a non-farm payroll week. I see. Interesting. So this could be a consolidation from Monday to Thursday. That tends to happen on non-farm payroll. Anyhow, we have just hit 4 standard deviation of this manipulation leg right here. So it's very possible now that we come up for all of these highs. This could be a Tuesday low of the week here. But now, you know, price may just come swooping higher for this. We're in this bullish order block here. Now, actually, what I'm going to do I'm going to long this. The target above here. Below the weekly open. So this is a 4-hour trade. We've moved 4 standard deviation from 1-hour manipulation leg, expecting reversal here. Pretty close to our stopping hit. I mean, 3 handles away. We very well could just come for my stop here. It's very possible. Okay, so already up 43 handles. I'm going to end up just bringing my stop to just below here. So my risk now is like 2 handles, and it's just to protect myself. Currently we are at 65 handles here. Going into 12:30. Really watching this 15-minute stibby. Okay, so we're stopped out. But we don't really lose anything there. Going into 130. Okay, so we move lower. Interesting. Okay. It's not a complete reversal, but I'll take it. You know, I was sort of shooting for the moon. But, you know, that trade sort of went against my idea of a 4 a.m. high. I just thought it was possible that we may come back up here, but it looks like what we did instead was we moved to a premium. So it may have been also interesting to note that we moved just above the weekly open. So that's really interesting too, that we just moved above the weekly open, that pink line. So maybe it would have been, oh, also we moved right to that breaker as well. Look at that. Moved right into that breaker. Fascinating. Okay. So it's very possible we've had a Monday high of the week here. Like I had mentioned at the beginning of this recording, I'm watching this area here, this BISI, as well as this order block for price to move to this week. We're going into 2 p.m. now. Let's see, if we look at this 4-hour manipulation, I mean, yeah, we may move as low as this Friday low. But we are approaching this BISI. Going into 330, 345, and market close. So, I mean, okay, so what I'm really happy with about this day is that, like, okay, so let's look at this trade. Let's see, what is it, Tuesday? No, okay. I'm trying to get this dang January thing out of here, man. Let's cancel that, okay. Let's cancel that, okay. So if we look in my first trade of the day here at 3 a.m., okay, at 5 a.m., look at what I said. Expecting lower prices and for high of day at 4 a.m. And what do you know? Our high of the day was at 4 a.m., so that's really excellent that we projected that. The only thing that I regret was setting my sights too high on buying this reversal. I'm happy with the fact that I was able to time this as a reversal point. And I mean, shit, if I really, I mean, damn, that was a 200 handle move, but I set my sights too high. Like, it's a little unreasonable to believe that we'd move all the way back up here to this swing high. I could have just set even my take profit to the weekly open. But regardless, I mean, hey, it's a win in terms of determining the draw on liquidity. Moving into Wednesday. First, let's get our high of the day here. So, boom, we did predict the high of the day. Right at 5 a.m., we called what the high of the day would be. And I mean, that's having that kind of knowledge is, I mean, that's priceless. You can't put a price on that. You cannot. Okay, so we've got this Tuesday low. Got this Tuesday high here. Again, you know, we're looking for lower prices, expecting this to be the manipulation of the weekly open. And if we take a standard deviation on the manipulation leg, I mean, it's got 2.5 standard deviations aligned with this bullish order block, which puts us in a discount of this bullish displacement leg. So my guess is that we head down to here. I mean, down here is a 20-day low. This black line is a 20-day low. So that is my forecast for this week, is that we end up heading here to this Friday low. Weekly sell side objective. I'm going to put that forward here. Let us continue with the day here. Moving into the Asian session of Wednesday. We have taken that Tuesday's low. Curious if we're going to move back in this area. Okay, so we do have our midnight price. Going to be watching, again, how we interact with midnight price. We're moving lower here, going into 2 a.m. Looks like we're respecting bullish PD arrays. Yes, we are. 230. Moving into this bullish order block. Almost, okay, we continue to find support there. A lot of consolidation in this London session. 3 a.m. Interesting move higher here. That's a pretty fat London candle. I'm just trying to figure out if, well, okay, so right now I have this context in mind that, okay, so we've had this manipulation leg stop run, which, you know, that puts us here. Now, what's the news for the day? ADP in Fed's chair. So I wonder, price may come to this level. I'm just marking this out. I'm marking it out ahead of time to build that confidence of being able to predict price. We could also just be seeing a 3 a.m. high of day here. But with this manipulation stop leg, well, we've also got this 4-hour BISI that price could be gravitating towards. So it's sort of hard to tell. It's sort of hard to tell. Going into 3 a.m. We hit that midnight price. Going into 4:30. Trying to see if bullish. Yeah, okay, so bearish PD arrays are getting violated. We continue moving higher here, right? Going into 5:15. I think we're going higher. Yeah. Going into 6. Moving into this 4-hour and 1-hour SIBI here. Going into 6:30. First piece of news is at 8:15. A lot of trendline liquidity down here. Damn, look at that 7:15 candle. Tapping midnight price to the tick and then running away. Going into 7:30. Maybe this is a 6 a.m. high of the day. It's very possible this is a 6 a.m. high of the day. There's so many different factors to weigh in on that it just becomes difficult to tell. Got this piece of news at 8:15. Going into 7:45. I'm really trying to figure out what sort of manipulation is happening here prior to this news event. Because that always seems to happen. We'll have a level of manipulation right before a news event. Let's see, so we moved from a premium to a discount. It's so hard to tell. A part of me really wants to sell this fat 8 a.m. candle here. A part of me really wants to sell it. But we could also just turtle soup this 6 a.m. high. Well, okay, selling it clearly would have... Okay, so we're about to hit news here. 8:15, where's the most liquidity, right? Where does most liquidity reside? I mean, I'm thinking these lows. Honestly, I'm thinking these lows. So with that in mind, I'm going to short this. My stop above here, targeting this. Do I really want to do this? No. Well, okay, because we've also have this. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to sell this because we've had this stop run, which has us going higher. So I'm not going to sell here. I'm definitely not going to sell. Going into 8:30. Going into 8:45. I mean, this is basically a consolidation here. we've also got this higher time frame draw. Now, so really what I'd be watching for here is the 10 a.m. displacement. What will the 10 a.m. displacement bring us? I want to think that it'll bring us down into here, that it'll be a fat sell-off, bringing us into here. Let's just see. Okay, definitely a good thing I didn't sell there. Interesting how these relative equal highs are orchestrated. Like this is the type of shit that really interests me, because look at this. Look at this. This didn't take liquidity. Like this didn't take buy stops. This is a double top. And price comes back for double tops. Okay, you know what? Let's see here. Yeah, we got this 10 a.m. news. Where's the liquidity, right? We have this double top, but what price can do is we can sweep all of this sell side and then take the double top. So, okay. I don't know, I'm just feeling that instinct to trade. Ah, I see. Okay, so we do take that sell side. There's a 10 a.m. look at that. Okay, so that does bring us into this BISI. Interesting, interesting. Looking at a potential 6 a.m. high of the day. Going into 10 a.m. We take that buy side here. We're sweeping intermediate term highs here. I'm watching this to be a turtle soup sell. I'm watching this as a turtle soup sell. I'm going to be watching for prices to start plunging lower now. Well, clearly it doesn't. Interesting, interesting. So very interesting that the Fed share event brings us into this discount PD array, and we move higher. Well, okay, so prices at the level that we expected. Look at how the bodies respect what I drew out. Look at how the bodies respect that. Going into 12. If we retrace up, I'm just going to sell this. Come on, move higher into that. Well, okay, this was also a bearish order block. Look at that. Look at that precision. Okay. Let's just see what happens. Going into 1 p.m. 1:15. Going into 2 p.m. Finding support at the mean threshold of this wick. We could just move lower. Going into 2:30. Going into 3. And I'm going to long this. To our trade. Why am I longing it? Well, we've taken sell side. We've moved to a discount on the entire time frame. I mean, not a complete discount, but 50%, right? I mean, at least 50% of this range. I mean, look at that. We have moved to a discount. And so now what I'm looking for is a movement. I have my take profit at the mean threshold of this bullish order block. Again, considering the time of the day here, there's an hour left of trading. And maybe this is just me just wanting to get a trade in, just for the dopamine of it, which is obviously not, that's not how trading works. But we've moved into a discount on this higher time frame. So right now our draw should be higher. We've moved into a discount on the higher time frame, expecting higher prices throughout power hour with a take profit at mean threshold of bearish OB. I'm also buying in this 50-minute BISI. Going into 315. Currently have 30 handles. I'm just going to move my stop to break even. Look at that. Bada bing, baby. That's how we do it. It's beautiful seeing price react exactly, I love seeing that high low resistance liquidity run. Trade recap. Low resistance low resistance liquidity run. Say that 4 times fast. Low resistance liquidity run. Low resistance liquidity run. Low resistance that's tough. Okay, low resistance liquidity run into target. Bias is accurate. Well done. Let's fucking go, boys. And I mean, hey, and look, and that's off of a 15-minute SIBI too. Like, I see so many folks who are trading these 1 minute and 5-minute, a BISI, but like, I've found a lot more success with the 15-minute BISI. So, always a pleasure to see that work out. Looks like we had a low of the day with that news event at 10, high of the day at 11. Okay, so let's see. Well, we're going to the Thursday now. Got our Wednesday low here. Wednesday high. In terms of the weekly open on this candle, let's see, so that was last week? No, it wasn't. Okay, so this is our weekly candle here. I still have this weekly sell side objective right here. So I'm looking at lower prices. I'm looking at lower prices. We did have this strong reaction off of this 4-hour BISI. So that's a factor to contend with. In terms of the weekly open, if this was the manipulation of the weekly open, it's really just a question of what will non-farm payroll bring us. It can bring us seek and destroy. It can also just bring us a violent buy-side or sell-side delivery. So yeah, that's something I'm going to be watching for. We've moved to a discount, then we moved to a premium. Will we end up taking this Wednesday low? That's my main question. It's again, I'm framing everything through the context of the weekly candle. Assuming this is the accumulation manipulation of the weekly candle, this Monday high, I'm thinking it's a Monday high. The Monday we made the high of the week. Right here. This was the high of the week, moving into a premium of this distribution leg. If price is fractal, perhaps we are continuing that same pattern and it will continue to move lower. Anyhow. Let's continue with the week here. Going into 1 a.m. I'm going to see how we're doing on time here. Okay, so this is going to be our last day. We'll have to wait for the non-farm payroll result in the next session. But that's fine. Quantity over quality. Let's start taking off some of these. Take off this Friday high. I still have this weekly sell side objective here, but I would imagine non-farm payroll would deliver us there. In terms of drawn liquidity, I'm pretty neutral. I mean, we just moved from an equilibrium of this range, and then we moved to an equilibrium of this bearish displacement leg. So I'm not really sure what this Thursday will bring us. Yeah. Again, my general thought is lower prices. Why? Because if we take the standard distribution of this manipulation leg, it has us moving into this 4-hour order block, which would be a deeper discount of this bullish displacement leg. So that is my view for this week, is that we go down. Let's see, okay, so we're going into 3 here. Have this double top here. Going into 415. I mean, this is some large sell side delivery. I have a hard time thinking that we would move any higher than this. Very possible that we have our high of the day here at 1 a.m. Reason I say that is I've never seen price move so explosively to the downside during London and then come back up. It does happen, but that's my instinct, is that perhaps high of the day here, and we move further into a discount of this displacement leg. But I could be completely wrong. Maybe we make a, well, no, it's 5. I don't think we make a low of the day here. Do have this market maker buy model here. Potentially. This also could just be a retracement. Going into 7. So timer, we will just finish out the day though. Consolidation going into 7:45, no news for the day. Interesting. Look at that candle. Look at that 8:30 candle. I want to sell this so bad, but I'm not going to. Okay, good thing I didn't. This movement upward smells fishy to me. I mean, unless we made a 5 a.m. low of the day, this movement up smells fishy to me. Smells very fishy. Going into 8:45. Wow, some explosive movement higher. Going into 9. Taking Wednesday high here. I'm really going to be watching how price interacts with this high. Mapping a standard deviation on this manipulation leg. I'm watching this. Okay, this is really interesting because we're moving above the weekly open here. So this is a Thursday reversal. This is a Thursday reversal. Moving above that weekly open. But was this really the manipulation of the week? Did we really move higher this week? Okay, we hit that 4 standard deviation. Going into 9:45. I mean, I'm looking for a reversal here. And in fact, I'm so confident in this theory of standard deviations and manipulations that I'm just going to sell right here. I'm going to sell right here, putting my stop. Okay, we'll have our stop right there. I'm happy with that stop. And where would I put a potential take profit? I would put it at a discount of this displacement. So I'd put my profit right here. So really my only basis for this trade is I'm looking at this stop run, projecting it forward. We're starting to fail at 4 standard deviations. We're in this 4-hour bearish order block. So I'm looking for a reversal here, and I'm looking at all of this upward movement as the 9:30 Judas, as well as just the 8:30 Judas. So yeah, and I'm going to take profit at a discount of that Judas. So, save and journal. Expecting this movement upward to be completed. We've reached 4 standard deviation of the manipulation leg. Looking to take profit at a discount of this range. We're also above the weekly open here. Now this I could just immediately get stopped out in the first couple minutes here, which is possible, but look at that. 2 handles from getting stopped out. Going into 10:30. I want this bearish order block to hold. I want this green candle to hold, which it does. Excellent. Going into 11:45. I mean, we're already at 72 handles. I have such a strong instinct to just take profit here. You know, because when you're at 72 handles, it's like, you know. But what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna move my stop to break even. I'm just gonna take half off. Okay. We're gonna take half off here. So we've already secured like 30 handles on the day. We're gonna let the rest of this ride. So no matter what, this is a $700 trade. Going into noon, looking for lower prices throughout this afternoon session, and beautiful. I mean, that's just beautiful. Excellent. Damn, man, the standard deviation projections are fucking crazy with how accurate they are. Shit is fucking crazy. I mean, look at this. Okay, whoops. Actually, I took it on, what did I take it on? 15-minute. I mean, look at this shit. Was expecting reversal right here. Right here. And look at that. Boom. I mean, that's 90 handles, man. 90 handles. That's excellent. Just going to play out the rest of the day here. We're now into a discount of this range. We could start to see upward movement, or we could just end up taking the sell side. Also, really interesting to note how we interacted with the weekly open here. How this entire upward movement went high up into that weekly open. Large sell-off going into 2 p.m. here. We had this weekly sell side objective here. We're just like, okay, sometimes in moments like these, it can be tough to be like, well, you know, okay, if I had sold, if I had held on a little bit more of that position, I mean, you know, this would be a 250 handle trade as opposed to an 100 handle trade. But again, that mentality of having enough is, I think it's so important. When is enough enough? And greed is so easy, especially in these markets. Look at this. Okay, so we marked out this 4-hour order block at the beginning of the week. Really interesting that we have moved to that. Really happy with that. Weekly sell side objective, and we've met our weekly sell side objective. So, I mean, yeah, this is excellent. I mean, look at this, man. That's fucking beautiful. And we found this weekly sell side objective with this stop run. With this 4-hour stop run. This is 2.5 standard deviations. So as far as I'm concerned, we could just reverse them here. We could reverse and just start moving higher, going into 330. I don't know where price is going to go next. We also dipped in this 4-hour semi. And the day is that concludes the day here. So I mean, this is a really excellent week. I mean, just looking at our positions this week. Let's see, what is the day? It's the 9th, so the week began on the 6th. So, okay, so it's a $2,500 week. So that's like a 200 handle week. We're at an equity high, which is really excellent. But the most important part that I'm happy with about is projecting this weekly sell side objective. as well as with timing this sell. I mean, I completely timed this sell here beautifully. I mean, standard deviation, using a standard deviation on stop runs. Dexter on Twitter teaches it. This shit is fucking magic. To be able to fucking draw something on this and realize, oh, okay, this is 2.5 standard deviation. We can see price reverse at 2.5 standard deviations of this stop run. I mean, that's fucking sauce. And with the fact that, there's a confluence of, okay, we moved with the weekly open. This is also a Judas swing. Yeah, I mean, that's really excellent. That's going to conclude this session. I appreciate your time. And have a wonderful holiday. Thank you.